St. Kitts and Nevis, paradise or playground for the corrupt. For decades, the twin island nation of St. Kitts and Nevis has been lauded as a tropical paradise, boasting pristine beaches and a relaxed way of life. Yet, beneath its sun-soaked exterior lies a much darker reality, one that is slowly unraveling with each new investigation into its financial dealings. The spotlight is now sharply focused on the secretive world of offshore finance, the Citizenship by Investment (CBI) program, and the shadowy figures who pull the strings behind the scenes. The question that now haunts this small Caribbean nation is simple: how deep does the rot go? A secrecy haven no more. St. Kitts and Nevis have long been known for their lenient financial regulations and opaque corporate structures, making them a magnet for money laundering and illicit financial activity. As exposers like Oliver Bullow's Guardian series delve deeper into these murky waters, it's becoming clear that this tiny nation may be harboring far more than just beautiful beaches. When Bullow was stonewalled in his attempts to uncover the ultimate beneficial ownership of a company in Nevis, it wasn't just an isolated incident, it was a testament to the nation's deep-rooted commitment to secrecy. But why the secrecy? And why now, as international pressure mounts, are many high-ranking officials growing increasingly nervous? Is the government fearful of what new investigations might uncover? The answers may lie not just in St. Kitts and Nevis, but in financial corridors stretching across the globe, from China to the US investigations turning up the heat. The US government has been tightening the screws on tax havens like St. Kitts and Nevis, driven by concerns over money laundering, tax evasion, and corruption. Task forces like the Kleptocracy Asset Recovery Initiative and agencies like FinCEN are no longer content with surface-level scrutiny. With recent RICO filings by MSR Media pointing to the involvement of corrupt officials and criminal enterprises, one has to wonder, who's next on the chopping block? The US is applying pressure through initiatives like FATCA and the OECD's Common Reporting Standard (CRS), forcing jurisdictions like Nevis to open up their financial systems to international scrutiny. The lack of transparency has long been a selling point for wealthy individuals looking to hide their money, but that cloak of invisibility is slowly being lifted. For some politicians and bureaucrats who have thrived in this environment, the fear is palpable. For some politicians and bureaucrats who have thrived in this environment, the fear is palpable. What happens when the US and other international agencies start connecting the dots between offshore shell companies, local political elites, and global money laundering networks? Money laundering. A well-oiled machine? Money laundering in St. Kitts and Nevis is not a new phenomenon, but what's shocking is how systemic it appears to be. The CBI program has become a lightning rod for criticism, not just for offering passports to the wealthy with minimal vetting, but also for serving as a potential gateway for laundering dirty money. The difficulty in tracing UBOs suggests that these financial structures have been tailor-made for corruption. But here's the chilling part. How many government officials and high-ranking bureaucrats have their hands in these cookie jars? For years, whispers of corruption have swirled around the corridors of power in St. Kitts and Nevis, but few concrete actions have been taken. With US investigations intensifying and revelations from RICO cases mounting, will the full extent of the rot finally be exposed? Or will the guilty continue to hide behind the walls of Nevis's offshore financial system? The Chinese black hole. Another piece of the puzzle. Adding another layer of intrigue is the so-called Chinese black hole, a term used to describe vast amounts of Chinese wealth vanishing into opaque financial systems around the world. Nevis, with its ironclad secrecy, may be one of the prime destinations for this money, and the implications are staggering. Could St. Kitts and Nevis be at the center of a global web of illicit Chinese funds, quietly making their way through shell companies and offshore accounts. This phenomenon raises even more troubling questions. Is the local government complicit or worse, actively facilitating the flow of dirty money into its financial system? The potential for political corruption is immense, especially if wealthy foreign interests are influencing policy in exchange for access to these financial networks. As US and international regulators shine a spotlight on these practices, the fallout could be devastating. Fear in the halls of power. Given the rapid pace of recent investigations, it's no wonder that Caribbean governments, especially the current administration in St. Kitts and Nevis, are on edge. Corruption allegations tied to high-ranking officials, the cozy relationship between local elites and shadowy foreign figures, and the glaring loopholes in the CBI program all point to a system that has been quietly exploited for years. But here's the real question. What will happen when the house of cards finally collapses? Will the investigation simply uncover a few bad apples, or is the entire political establishment in jeopardy? How many politicians and bureaucrats are sweating behind closed doors, terrified that their names will be next on a subpoena? For too long, the global community has turned a blind eye to the dark underbelly of paradise. Now, with the US government leading the charge, the tide is turning. Will St. Kitts and Nevis, once lauded for its peaceful shores and laid-back charm, become the cautionary tale of a nation whose leaders played with fire and got burned? Or are we merely scratching the surface of something far more sinister, with tentacles stretching into the highest offices of government? Conclusion. More questions than answers. As the investigations unfold, one thing is certain: this story is far from over. The shadowy world of offshore finance, political corruption, and global money laundering is a tangled web, one that St. Kitts and Nevis finds itself firmly at the center of. But the deeper we go, the more questions arise. Who are the real players behind these schemes? How much do local governments really know, and how far will they go to protect their secrets? And most importantly, when the reckoning finally comes, will St. Kitts and Nevis survive the storm? Only time will tell. But the clock is ticking.